Noon. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Martha Simmons with another session of Preaching and Preachers on Facebook Live via Restream. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come on in and let me know that you are out there for what I know is going to be another great broadcast. Come on in and let me know that you are out there. I hope that there are no technical difficulties.
No, I see it's streaming.
There we go. People are coming in slowly but surely. Good morning to my people on the West Coast, which is where Reverend Lester is. Thank you all for getting up early. Good afternoon to my people on the East Coast, shouting out my people in the Midwest, not trying to miss anybody. Come on in and let me know that you are out there. And when you come on, type in the name of another person who you know needs to view this broadcast. Everybody is trying to learn more about AI and the church. Type in their name. They can jump on now and view it, or they can watch it on my page for 2 weeks. It will be there so they can check it out in their leisure and just type in their name and they will know that they should go to this broadcast at some point. Melva Wise White, good to have you with me. Come on in, come on in, giving people just a few moments to get on. It is a sunny day here in Atlanta. A little bit chilly in the morning, then the sun comes out. I hope it's okay where everyone else is. Still praying for my friends in North Carolina and those who were affected by Helene, and some of my people in Augusta as well. Come on in. Come on in and let me know that you are out there. Come on in. All right, come on in. Yep, I see people coming in. And because I want to give my guest as much time as possible, I'm going to go ahead and start. As always, we're praying for those who are sick, praying for those who are suffering through a season of bereavement, particularly today. I am grieving the loss of Dr. Barbara Holmes, a wonderful scholar and woman of God, praying for her family and for all of the families that are going through a season of bereavement. And we're still praying for peace. All around the world, we are praying for peace. War is ravaging so many countries. We are praying for peace. Brian Kelly, good to have you with me. Come on in. Come on in, people. Come on in. Let me do a couple of quick announcements. On next Monday, October 28th, the topic will be how can I do that? How can I do that? And I'm going to cover everything from how to find a good intern for your church, how to close a sermon well, to how to get invited to conferences and conventions to speak. Marco Fields, good to see you. As I said, when you come in, type in the name of another person who you know needs to view this broadcast. All right, then on November 1st, I will be beginning, believe it or not, my 8th year on preaching and preaching. I can hardly believe that myself, but that's what Facebook says. 8 years next month. So look for it to be a great month all next month. Okay, okay. All right, let's get to the topic for today. And I am just excited and delighted I'm going to have covered AI a little bit earlier in the year relative to preaching. And I'm sure I will be covering it again and again as AI continues to explode. Today, I want to talk more specifically about uses of AI for the church, and I got two great people to help me do that. My first guest is Reverend D.K. Hammond. He is an American pastor, a leadership coach, entrepreneur, and he's known for integrating spiritual guidance with leadership development and digital discipleship. He's a native of Little Rock, Arkansas. He began his professional career as a computer technician and later became an IT manager in 2003. He answered his call to ministry, combining his background in technology, project management, and leadership to empower both churches and organizations. He is the CEO of Amplify, a consulting and media firm, and founder of DK Consulting. He's a graduate of Dallas Baptist University, which has equipped him to lead in the church across various sectors. With a passion for digital discipleship, DK leverages media platforms to share messages of empowerment and leadership and to develop uh, wider audiences using his leadership training. He's a sought after speaker and leadership mentor. You can find him online at www.dkconsulting.org or info@dkhammonds.com. My other guest is Reverend Dr. Justin Lester. He's a father, husband, and follower of Jesus. That's the first line in his bio. Okay. Beyond that, he is an AI expert, author, and pastor who loves people, ministry, and coffee. He holds a Master of Divinity from Vanderbilt University, a Master of Arts from Marquette University, and a doctorate in ministry from Boston University. His dissertation was titled Let's Play Church, Gamifying New England Black Church Revitalization. And I've got to take a look at that. Okay. He is also the author of The Church of AI, where he unpacks the theological and ethical implications of artificial intelligence in the local church. When it comes to the local church, he's deeply passionate about it. He is the pastor of Friendship Baptist Church in Vallejo, California. Beyond his pastoral work, he serves on the board of trustees of the Black Religious Scholars Group as an AI expert with AI and Faith and on the advisory council for the Harvard Business Review. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Hey.
All right, all right, all right. I see
What's up?
people have come in. It's good to have you all with me. Type in the name of a person you know needs to view this broadcast. They can get on now, or it'll be up on my page for 2 weeks and they can check it out then. All right, let's get to it. Let's get going. AI and the church. All right, Dr. Lester, the average church only has between 35 and 75 people. I know you know what we think is happening out there when we turn on the big broadcast. But I track the data, and that's the median now, and it's been that way for a long time. Okay,
Absolutely.
so given those numbers, the real numbers, can AI really help churches that small, or is it too costly? Talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for inviting us on here. So happy to be here, my homeboy DK. We've been doing this journey for a minute, and so it's cool to do this together to help the average church. Absolutely. So, like you said, most churches are at that 35 to 75. The reason AI, I believe, can help churches is those pastors are bivocational, right? And so you are adding a staff member. So whether that's a chat bot, whether that's I don't know, embedding things into your website, having you build a website. Like there's so many tools we could show you that could right now add an entire staff member. So currently my church, we're a little bit bigger than 35 to 75, but we only have 4 full-time staffers, and you would think we have about 7 because we have embedded chat bots, automatic follow-up, automation. So one thing you'll hear consistently from probably both of us is automation, immersion, and consistency. Automation, immersion, consistency, right? And so when we automate, you're able to set it up one time. And so is it expensive? Absolutely not. So beyond, the only one I would really recommend paying for, if you're just starting out in this, is going to be Canva. Outside of that, ChatGPT, write and use it as a extra person to work with. And then your presentations on Gamma, right? You don't need the expensive versions. For churches who are advanced, who have the staff, get the paid versions. I mean, paid versions are going to kill it. But really remember that I think to start with this AI conversation, we got to come down to a definition of AI, right? And it's just technology that mimics human thinking and learning. That's the branches of machine learning, neural networks, deep learning. And then what can help churches is generative AI, right?
Yes.
So Gen AI is using predictive analytics to create something. And that's where your chat GPTs and your Claudes. So can it help? Absolutely. It'll add a staff member. So in terms of like our church right now, if you text our church, you're going to have a whole conversation with our chatbot, right? If you reach out to our church, you have a whole conversation with our AI assistant. The person who does my scheduling is my AI assistant, all for free. Now, granted, I'm connected to some people who are doing some beta testing, but the way AI is working right now and what's coming out for organizations is accessible. And that's what's so great. The only reason we're using it so much now is it's accessible because it's getting funded. And so can it help? Yes. And if you don't use it, AI is not going to replace people, but it's going to replace those who don't use it. And so if your church is
all right
especially
now
35 to
That's
75,
say that again. Say that again.
AI is not going
you tell the truth.
It's not going to replace people. But if you don't use it, it's going to replace you. The people who use it are going to replace those who don't. And so if a church isn't using it, and it's the same thing, DK and I were laughing about this. We were talking about live stream when people thought we were crazy.
Yeah, man.
And then COVID hit and we were geniuses, right? We're telling you now, right? Humanoid robots. So if you need to replace your ushers who don't like you, humanoid robots are coming out in 2025, right? If you need a new church bus flying college kids. I said what I said. And for the average church, if you're not using artificial intelligence to help you write, help you organize your materials, to proofread, help automate some of your systems, you're missing out on things that's going to help not just grow your church, but sustain your sanity.
Yeah.
All right, DK, add to it.
Yeah, first of all, my team did not put my wife and their information in there, and they're wrong for that. So salute to my 4 kids and my wife that should have been on there as well. I make sure they get asked in my bio. But to answer the question at hand, can this really help your small church? Most of the complaints that I hear from senior leaders, and I talk to quite a few of y'all offline, and most of the complaints is we lack help, or we don't have proficient help. Right. And so now proficient help is important. So now what if you could program the help, so to speak? So he's talking about AI and chatbots. So what a chatbot is, because my company is a website development company as well. That little in the corner, there's a circle that normally pops up on the website that shows up that you can have a conversation with someone. We can program that to have all of the facts about church, all of the information about the pastor that needs to be released, all of the information about serve teams and things of that nature, so that a person is equipped with right information upon the website. Here's the number one thing that pastors complain about to me the most, and that is repeating themselves. They dislike repeating themselves to members and everybody else. Well, if I have a chatbot can do the repetition for me. If I have this over here, it can do that for me. So I think it's just a huge piece that a lot of pastors have an embedded fear about. And I know we're going to get to talking about that too. That we need to really draw down that wall so that we can have a conversation about it. So what Pastor Dr. Lester already stated is absolutely factual. and you need to start using it as soon as you can.
Yeah. So if you're a smaller church, especially, everybody's using it, but especially if you're a smaller or mid-sized church, I think Dr. Lester was right. It's not about replacing people, but if you don't use it, if you don't understand it, if you don't let it work for you, those who are using it will replace you.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
They will replace you. They will replace you. And it's moving very quickly. So you don't want to get too far behind. That said, Dr. Lester, the average pastor, and I know this is going to shock people too. But like I said, I keep up with the data. The average pastor is 50 or older. 50 or older. Okay. That's Black, white, Latino, and Asian.
Yes.
They're 50 or older. Are they too old to learn how to use AI programs? And I know people say, you can go get you a young person. You can go and people will say, Doc, ain't no young people in my church. Are they too old at 50 to learn how to use AI programs? If not, if they are not too old, because I know you're going to say they're not. If they're not, where do they start?
Yeah. So to throw the data too, so 25% of our churches too are millennial, and we can have that whole conversation too. But so the average pastor, yes, you use it. So within the first 15 minutes of your day, you're using AI between 7 to 15 times in the first 15 minutes of your day. Remember, it's non-human intelligence. So you getting up and your light automatically coming on, you're using Siri, Alexa, the email spam filter. So what filters out your spam emails, tells you spam likely, things that you didn't even think about, that like security captures when you go to buy something, your playlist for your car and your Spotify or your Pandora. We've been using AI for years. We just didn't know. So, and actually to that same data, so what is it? 55% of people over 50 use AI daily. Right.
All right.
And so they're using that, and 27% of them use things beyond smart devices. So you're using your chat GPTs and stuff. So in your phone, it's already there. So the challenge now is moving that predictive analytic to then use it for your congregation as well. Right. So are you too old to use it? I think you're too old not to use it. Right.
Come on.
So that's looking at the trends for your giving. So we use it for our giving at our church. Right?
Absolutely.
So we take it and we analyze our giving, our generational giving, projections for next year, helping build our budget for next year, helping look at things, evaluate what we need to raise, where we're at, our capital campaign. We use it to help write grants. So if you're not using it, we wrote a grant in 30 minutes. Honestly, we took the application, we took our history, we put it together, wrote a grant, and received it, right? There's all these different ways you're able to use it in your church. And what DK was saying in terms of chatbots, we have to duplicate ourselves, right?
That's right.
And so there's clone services out there so that people need to be able to access your mind when you're asleep. Right. And so we have chatbots or your videos online. People need to see how you're thinking and what you're preaching and what you stand for when they can't talk to you.
That's right.
One of the issues in our churches, I believe, is that we've made it center on the person instead of centered on the it's just accessibility in the gospel. Now, I'm not talking evangelism. This is pure marketing. Think about it. If you went to the mall you wanted a free sample, they don't give you a visitor's card and say, go down to the street and find a free sample. They give you the free sample. But when it comes to our churches, it's like, hey, we're open 1 hour a week. Here's a visitor's card. I hope you're available. AI is making us available on a regular basis. So are they too old to use it? No. I think where they can get started, chatbots immediately, but also playing around with it. So getting in and teaching your AI. So this is data, good data in, good data out, bad data in, bad data out. So you got to teach it who you are. So our team at our church, I believe innovation is not an option, it's a requirement. So I mandate everyone on my team to spend 30 to 45 minutes a week using AI. Now we don't work without it. Everything we pretty much do is AI driven. And so, but for months there, I mandated every person, no matter how old they were, to use artificial intelligence.
Does that include your deacons, trustees?
Absolutely, everyone. Yeah, so we had older members, and I had a 90-year-old deacon, okay, Pastor, I'm gonna try this IA thing. And you know what he did? He made an image of him and his grandkids, and it was so cute because what it did is this stuff, you're gonna use it to make funny pictures on Facebook. So let's use it to disciple our friends and family, to engage with those around us, because you're going to use it. So let's make sure that the church, forgetting to just Black churches in general, we are the centrifuge of our communities, not
Yes.
just in terms of liberation and equity. This is here. And so the same way we're doing it in all the other areas of justice, we've got to use this as well. And so
That's right.
I think the ways to start are, like, we're going to keep mentioning the same apps over and over if you guys don't use them. Chat GPT,
Yeah.
Claude is going to give you the most human-like writing.
Yeah.
Gamma is going to help you with your presentations, and
Yep.
then Dolly or Ideogram are going to help you create pictures. Try it out and teach it who you are, and then we can talk
Yes.
about. Like, we got some DK, and I can tell you some stuff that will blow your mind right now.
For real.
But start there, and no matter how old you are, you're too old not to use it right now, because it's either you're going to get within. If I told you about the predictions that the report just came out yesterday, the stuff that's about to happen in the next like 4 months.
Yeah.
We'll make this conversation no more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I want you to get. Go ahead. Tell
Go ahead,
us
DK.
about some of it.
No, I mean, I think you killing this, man, and I believe that the age thing is not a factor. The
Okay.
AI mitigates that age barrier. So a kid, my son who's 24 years old to me being my age, we can all use it for whatever various reasons that we're using it. And I think yes, Chat GPT, yes, Claude, yes, that. But I think here's the other factor that we'll talk about, but I'm gonna dive right into it. I think you can also use it for marketing and use it for discipleship. So
Okay.
a lot of people don't have the staff member to help them in the area of digital discipleship. Here's an
Mhm.
opportunity to use an AI piece or tool to help map out a plan that has the person's journey from one place to the next with emails that go with it. So let me give you an example of what I did for one church.
Okay.
For one church, what we did was when a person joined church, an email was triggered automatically. That's normal, right? It's an automatic email telling, hey, we're glad you're here. So now we have 3 emails that give them a journey to say, here are your next steps that you're going to be able to do out of those 3 emails. And then from those 3 emails, that person shows up and let's say they want to get baptized. We baptize them. And by the time they get out the water, they have another email and their certificate with their name and date on it that shows what we've done for them. This is all done through automation and AI. And so now you have an entire journey process that doesn't require a person to take 2 or 3 weeks to do. We can do it in real time right now to get that handled. So yes, my brother or my sister that's 50 plus years old, this is easy to do, but you do need to have what I would call having the smart people at the table to assist you to help guide you through this.
Well, I
Absolutely.
can
We
tell
did that.
everyone being over 50, as soon as it hit, I said, wait a minute, this is
Yep.
too powerful not to use.
Of course.
Absolutely.
It's just too powerful not to use. It was too powerful not to use. Justin, say a little bit about, you said a report came out.
Yeah.
You know, give us, first of all, someone said, Justin, repeat those apps. You said Chat GPT, Claude. What else did you say?
So Gamma, GAMMA, is a PowerPoint presenter. You literally just put, so what I've used it to literally put your sermon in there. It'll create your slides for you with AI generated images. You get about 800 free slides a month. So try that out. And then lastly was Ideogram. And that one is, now it's not the best image creator, but it's the most user friendly. The new Flux one is just incredible, but Ideogram, IDEOGRAM. Is great. You know, DK, I want up you, man. So we use this one app where we don't even have to worry about guests following up. If you merge it with Facebook Pixels and put the pixel inside of your church, when people show up and log into Facebook, you know when your guests are there or not. I mean, it's just incredible. So that automatically it triggers a response. So we send out automated videos and AI changes my mouth. So it's just like, good afternoon, Susan. We're so grateful. And it's just like, it changes my mouth. And just the moment they sign up to come to church, they get a phone call from me. I don't even call them. People be having whole conversations with us online through our chatbot. And it's just amazing because what it does, so it updates automatically with my sermon every week. And so people are able to have conversations about my sermon yesterday, today with me. And people be having full-fledged conversations. And it only uses my data. There's also another we just implemented in our church where, you know how the church is like, we'll put this in the church archives. Where are the church archives? So there's this
for real.
In the basement with mold on it. That's where it's
yeah, exactly. And asbestos.
No,
and
they
so,
don't have anymore. They're not even in the basement anymore. Okay, there's nothing even in the basement.
So there's this app that we're implementing right now, actually, where we can have an AI chatbot actually search the archive. So we're uploading all of our folders and documents, and we're giving it over to some of the seniors to scan everything in, to type some stuff up, and that's where we're involving some of the older members of our church to scan all the stuff in, and then so that now when people want to talk about bylaws and all this, they can just literally have a chatbot to talk with it, to give them answers and all that. Like, so we got the history back from like 1948 when it first started to now. And so it's some really cool stuff like that. So you mentioned this. Yeah. So the State of AI report came out. And so the most recent State of 2024 AI report came out. It was talking about some hits or misses from 2023, but things to project for next year. Humanoid robots are going to be a thing, whether we like it or not. Humanoid robots are it. That Tesla piece and all of that. Self-driving cars are being funded like incredibly more. And it's not just cute. They're happening. And I live in Vallejo, so we're about 30 minutes from San Francisco. I love it. I'm not gonna lie, these Waymo cars are incredible. So that's happening, and then the amount of funding that's going to be given to smaller companies. So a lot of these big time people that were at OpenAI or Anthropic are leaving, or Google DeepMind, they're leaving and starting their own stuff. And so you're getting a lot of the minds and the people and access. So I believe for us, if we're talking about the centrifuge of our churches, one, we have to teach our people this stuff exists. Two, we have to make sure our tech ministries are not just doing social media and the soundboard, but teaching our people how to code. So we're going to lose 80 million jobs due to AI. It's just going to happen. But it's also going to create 95 million. Right now, the current tech force is about 6 to 8% black. DK's in it, like 6 to 8% black. There's not a lot of us. All the conferences we go to, I love talking to these folks because I'm the only person of color that's a black or brown person. So they love like, oh, you're a pastor and you like this? 6 to 8% of the entire tech force is black. So we, as black and brown people, you have tech people who work in your church. Teach this next generation to code, or we're not going to make our money. Teach this next generation how to build things. Take them to different types of engagements. Teach them robotics. Robotics, remember, is just one thing telling another thing what to do and teaching it. So we have to, if we're going to be the centrifuge of our communities, we want to teach and preach and sing, but then afterwards teach them to build an app, right? And we can show you so many apps to build apps and code, because if not, we're going to lose out the next money. Like, I'm not talking just like next generation.
That's right.
It is, we're going to lose 80 million jobs. They're going to create 95 million jobs. If only 6 to 8% of those 95 million jobs is black, we're going to see our churches and our communities dwindle. So we've got to, so that's a challenge of,
well, they're already dwindling.
They're already doing it.
And we're missing opportunities to stop some of that, because we won't do basic things. Well, I call them basic now. Okay. And when you don't have staff, and here's a process to help you create staff, that's a basic move you got to figure out how to make. Go ahead, DK.
Yeah. You got to be able to make those moves, and you can't be fearful of those moves. I understand there's an embedded fear of this tech, and a couple of things that Dr. Lester stated by that I hope we get into, and that is how AI can help us with sermon prep and sermon writing. I know we're gonna get there, but I think that's an interesting conversation to have.
That is an interesting conversation. Because I don't trust what a lot of people do with AI and sermons.
And I can't wait till we delve into that, because I know a lot of preachers are wanting to know what is being done with that. I'll share what I'll be doing. But anyway, I think it's important, because I walk into rooms with this with funding. The funding is already there. I am one of the only black bodies that walk into that room to be able to eloquently talk about tech as it relates to our people. Right. And I have to be the representation. And we need more people using this in these spaces so I can have use cases. One example is Pastor Larry Crudup of Mount Moriah Baptist Church in Spartanburg.
I know him.
Yeah. He's using his AI to help with vision casting. He has uploaded every part of his vision into the AI so that it can help him and help others receive and repeat vision. So now we don't have to talk about, hey, what's the vision statement and the mission? The AI has already done it for us. and it can do it in repetitive motion for us as well. So we have so many use cases, brothers and sisters, about this. I think also we need to get into, and I know we can't cover everything, but get into the promptings of how we can do these certain things.
That's it.
Here's some more apps that I want to throw out there that wasn't.
Talk very slowly. You got some 50 plus people.
I got you.
Online.
I got you. First app that again is an LLM. It's a large language model. You want to use something like Gemini or Copilot. These are already on your computers through your email that you can easily access. Doesn't require a whole lot of funding to do. The next one, yes, it's ChatGPT. Here's another one I use a lot of as it relates to marketing media. I use an app called Descript. And Descript allows me to take a sermon, we'll say a sermon, or any conversation, drop it in this pod, and it will transcribe every word that was said. Yes. Let me tell y'all something. The most important thing that you can create outside of the preaching moment is the transcript from the preaching moment. This allows us to do everything as it relates to the church at large. I take that, drop it in there, and I can create devotionals. I can create small group material based on one sermon. And while I know there are other tools like Sermon Shots, there are other tools like church.tech. This is not an ad for y'all, but please send us some money. There are other tools like Pulpit AI that do similar, but they may have a bias that may exist.
They do have a bias. Let's take the may out. Go ahead.
Okay, they have a bias that do exist. This gives us an opportunity to write. And so what we have to learn is that, yes, a bias may exist, but we are there to offset the bias by writing the information in there ourselves to ensure that it is written for our people at that moment. Every context is going to change per the use case. So you need to make sure you use it in that manner.
Now, if you want to talk about bias, let me jump in here real quick. Bias.
Get there.
I definitely want you to talk about bias, because one of my guests is coming up in a couple of months. She's going to talk about how racist AI is and the bias that exists. Okay. So go ahead, talk about it, Dr. Lester.
So that's where Claude comes in. So Anthropic based itself on being the most ethical AI, right? And so research has shown on Claude's 2.0 and then 3.5 Sonnet that they are the most unbiased, neutral, and actually prefer non-white, non-male individuals. That's why if you're going to use a writing tool that's human-like, ethical, and intentional, you've got to use Claude. To what DK is saying, we can get into promptings and shameless plug. I got a masterclass that goes through all this stuff on jrlester.com. And so I give you a prompt sheet, and I just finished this new one because that's how quickly it's changing. I literally was for 4 apps about 6 months ago. They've all evolved. 2 of them got bought out. I mean, it's just that quick. But there's ways that you do your prompts. Claude is the best one to use because they pride themselves on being the most ethical. So to that point, theirs is offline. So you can use it online, but it's not going to use the web up to date as much as like ChatGPT has access to the web. If you get the pro version, Gemini has access to the web, Copilot has access to the web. So I would really challenge us, if we're going to talk about bias, that now. Secondly, that's why we got to be in the force. If only 8% of the people that are helping build this stuff look like us, that's why your captures. So you guys know when you do those security captures, and it's like, how many fire hydrants are there? That's all artificial intelligence teaching it what a fire hydrant is, teaching it what a blackface is. So that's where our pictures, and that's where, what we upload, how we define things. When it asks you like how many people are in a photo, it's important that we tell the data this stuff, as much as it's like, I don't want to be around the government. Stop it. The only way we can train these data sets on good data is if they see black and brown faces, and it's evolved. So, I mean, if you look at Pika, for example, they just reached their 1.5. If you look at Pika from 1 year ago to today, it's incredible how it's evolved because it's gotten more data, and people like DK and myself are at the table. So like, yeah, I love it because ain't nobody black at these tables I'm going to, and I'm sitting down talking to Google like they're friends because ain't nobody black there, and they want people of color to help with this stuff, and that like Google has dedicated millions of dollars to do this. You know, UC Berkeley by us is dedicating millions of dollars to build this, but we're not at the table because we're demonizing it. That what we don't understand, we demonize. And so we're demonizing
DK, let me tell everybody, DK just wrote a dissertation.
It's in there.
Okay.
Now, did you write that, DK, or
I mean, he typed it.
If it came from my computer, it's mine.
I know that's right.
The European Union's gonna have something to say about that.
I didn't say you stole nothing. That was not me. I said DK wrote. So I want you all to make sure you all look at that in the chat. But I think you are really on to something, because the racism is there.
Yeah,
but the only way we eradicate it is, number one, you do have to know how to recognize it, because there are people who will just use tech and not pay any attention and will not know, because they're not familiar. They don't know who wrote what, etc. They don't know that it's a bunch of white boys being given to them in terms of information. But the big thing is to start to use it.
Yes.
So that you come to understand how to put yourself into it and how to blackanize it. DK, I know you want to jump in.
So here's another use case. He's in the chat. Terrence L. Thomas out of Champaign. At first, he was a protractor of AI. He didn't quite understand it. He and I had some private conversations about it. And what he did was he loaded his AI up to speak straight Ebonics, to understand AME church and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so his AI is called Alfred. His AI has a name. His name is AI Alfred. And so now his personal AI is directly a reflection of him. So as we give it the information that it needs, we can mitigate some of the bias. Now, that does not negate the bigger picture, the big C, or the big chat GPT that has the bias, but you can control what you can control. The main thing is you guys have to stop demonizing and talking bad about it, and you have to start using it. You cannot avoid it. It is everywhere at any given moment.
And it's going to be everywhere. Sure. And no matter what you think about it, I don't care what you think about it, it's going to be there. And as Dr. Lester said earlier, the people who use it will replace you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
They will replace you as pastors of churches. They will replace you in the culture. They will replace you in just about every arena, because it's necessary. And if you have a small church, 30, 50 members, people are no longer accepting. You're simply saying, we can't do X, Y, and Z because we don't have enough people.
No.
People are not buying that.
No.
They are not buying that. And AI can help you. As Dr. Lester says, it can create staff people for you.
It can.
I mean, I have been writing grants for almost 30 years now. Okay. And I looked at a couple, looked at some stuff on AI, and I said, I just want to see what it can do with what I do. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it couldn't outright me, because it didn't make the stuff as black or as churchified as I wanted it to be. But let me tell you something. It saved me a week.
Come on now. Come on.
Whole week.
Come on.
A whole week. Once I prompted it and said, I'm looking for A, B, C, and D, and I need these things lined up, it saved me a whole week.
Yes.
A whole week.
Yes. And it continues.
My mind was blown. I said, okay, you got me. Yep. All I need to do now is keep tightening up my prompts. because I saw some little things that it did that I didn't like.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So let me tell you this about prompts, and I'll send it. It's actually, I'll give a link at the end, but I have a free ebook on this stuff, and I have a prompt.
Hey.
There's 3 prompts: the RTF, tag, and rise,
Yes.
where it's about your role, the task,
Yes.
and the action. That's all you need: your role, your tags, your function or action, whatever it is. And when you have to be like, it's almost like a bad kid. You have to like beat it to crap. This is what I need you to do, how I need you to. So act as a media marketing strategist and write this grant as an African-American pastor in X city. Use this history, use this data, use this in order to build me this. You have to almost beat it and then tell it.
You do have to beat it.
Once you teach it.
Several times I actually said, stop doing this.
Exactly. But then what you're doing is you're giving it, you're telling it what to do. Then also in your ChatGPT and your Claude, no matter what LLM you use, Gemini, Grok, whatever, the custom instructions, and I know we got to get to sermon stuff, but just technically, custom instructions. In your custom instructions, put in there who you are, your bio, your resume, how you write emails, what words you use, little things like that. And then I would even challenge everybody, have conversations with the AI, right? Like just have like one day, just like, hey, ask me how I'm doing, and just have a conversation, especially now ChatGPT has the talk function. Have a conversation while you're driving to teach it and train it, because then you'll be surprised what it outputs. And then that's what I have a clone, which if you guys go to my website, if you look in the lower right-hand corner, there's a clone. You click it, you're talking to me based upon everything I've ever written and all the videos I put out, and it talks back to you like me. But I want to challenge us, like, you got to teach it like you're doing. And then I guarantee you do that, Dr. Simmons, a couple of times. By the time you come around next year to write a grant, we're going to have to talk about how to make sure that it's undetectable, which
that is right.
Make sure it's undetectable.
You can make sure
mine is undetectable. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. See, if you are a grant writer, you understand how to make stuff undetectable. Okay.
Yeah, come on. I'm saying undetectable from AI. All of that.
Yeah.
You understand how to make it undetectable. So, that was not my issue. My issue was it doing stuff that I didn't want it to do. But the other thing that helped, and you just said it, I put my resume in.
Yep.
Totally different things happen. And again, my mind was blown. Okay, my mind was blown. But I can't. And Dr. Lester, make sure he has a free. Let me say that again. FREE.
It's free
book. Okay, to help guide you all. What I also want to recommend, though, to pastors, and we're going to get to some more questions.
Yeah.
Is that 4 or 5 churches, because 30 to 50 member churches, no, you all can't afford these gentlemen.
Sure.
But if 5 or 6 of you all come together, this is the era of collaboration.
This is.
I'm serious. If you don't collaborate, you will die.
That's it.
Amen.
If you got 15 members, you'll go down to 5. I am serious as a heart attack. Okay.
Amen.
5 or 6 churches can come together and collaborate, and then you can afford them, and it won't be a strain on anybody.
Sure.
It won't be a strain on anybody. Okay. So that they can help you do what you need to do for your church. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how small your church is. This is not as difficult as we have been making it. So we're going to do this quick question, and then we're going to get to a little bit about sermons. So DK and I can go back and forth.
We can do it. We can do it.
Because I know he has some ideas, but I'm going to tell him what preachers are really doing, which is why AI is not working for him. It's not working for him.
They couldn't preach before.
It is not.
They couldn't preach before. You got to be able to preach before. Now. You got to be. Let me look into my camera. You have to be able to preach before the AI. If you cannot preach, nobody's going to sign up to listen to you. I know.
Man, wait a minute. A part of what I do is just what I do. I listen to sermons, just random sermons. Sometimes people say to me, "Have you heard this preacher?" etc. So I listened to 2 sermons yesterday. people I'd never seen before. And I thought to myself, there's a reason I've never seen you before. And there was so much AI stuff in there. And I think they didn't know that there are people who know.
Who know? We know.
Yeah, not everybody knows.
Yeah. No.
But I was saying, I wanted to just, leave a message and say, excuse me, don't you know that if the tone and tenor of your speech dramatically change, we can tell.
We can tell.
We can tell. Anyway, before we get to that,
That is hilarious.
they've been making me tired, brother. This has been going on now for the last 8-9 months. Oh, Jesus.
There's so much bad preaching out there.
Yes,
there's so much bad preaching.
It's terrible preaching there, man.
Give me, because the people want this. And I know Reverend Lester's going to, put you all in touch with his free ebook. But each one of you all, if there's anything that you've not named already as a day-to-day resource that you recommend. Now, not the ones you've already named. Are there any others? Yeah. Or you just want to repeat the main ones?
No, I got some. I got some I'll give them. Okay. And also, since my good brother Lester is giving away free resources, if you go to my website and put your email address in, I heard DK is dropping a new AI book, and you might get it first. So just go over there. I hadn't said it nowhere else but here. It's the only place that knows it.
Why you didn't say go to www or go to, please, sir?
www.dkconsults.com or dkhammonds.com or .org and dkhammonds.com. You can go there. As you scroll to the bottom of the screen, sign in your email. You'll be a part of my email team. Because here's what really needs to happen. Outside of, yes, you may want to book a consult with us, a conversation with us. No, we need to build community.
That's right.
Community needs to be built. Right. And yes, you may not be able to talk to us one-on-one, but if we can find a way between us three to build a community to resource our people, then we are ahead of the curve to be able to make changes.
That's right.
So I am advocating for that. So definitely go there and you can get that. So here's some stuff as it relates to what you can use in terms of AI. Here's some marketing stuff that may help.
Day-to-day stuff.
Day-to-day stuff. Outside of ChatGPT, one I just put in the chat is called Tactic. And what this does, and you can go find other apps that do it within Zoom. This is a meeting note taker. It takes notes at every one of my meetings. I don't care if it's Zoom, Google, or Microsoft Teams. All of my meetings are recorded. Pastor, you always had a conversation like, hey, what happened at the meeting? Wouldn't it be great to have a AI-generated recap of what happened at that meeting? This application allows you to do that. That's one of many. I know somebody mentioned Fathom that is free that you can use. It does the same exact thing.
Say that again. What's the name of it?
Okay, go ahead, bro. Fathom and then Tactic. Fathom and Tactic.
I was going to jump in on that too. So we talked about this on our last podcast. Shameless plug, Social Media Church.
Yep.
Apple Intelligence has that built into your phone now. So if you have the new Apple 16 or 15, update your phone to iOS. You can record
Android
calls. That's what I'm saying. You can record your phone, and it's coming there, man. You can record your phone calls. I record all my meetings in my phone, and it actually gives me live transcript, live conversations in my notes while I'm on the phone during meetings. So to build upon what DK's saying, those two, Otter is great, but if you have the new Apple 16 on your computer or your iPad or your phone, you have it built in. So you can just open up your notes, say record this conversation. It'll make a big announcement. This is now being recorded, and it'll give you live transcripts to have conversations with. So just FYI. Yes. So if you somebody uses an iPad, if you have the most recent, I think 2 versions of it, and it's coming soon. So visual intelligence, Apple Intelligence is about to change everything. Remember, and they now partnered with Google. So Google had the best AI tech out there. So we're just telling you guys what's forecasting. Your phone's going to go obsolete. And so these apps are great, but they're also what he's saying, and Otter and all this, like it's going to be bought out by these bigger companies, and it's built. So now it's built into the phone. So it's going to be released to everybody in 2 days. Yeah. So be sure you update your phone because
so if churches are trying to manage their media, all of their media, DK, what are the programs?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the best programs to manage your media. The first thing I would say is some people are going to say Later and Buffer and they have one called Disciple or something like that. I wouldn't. Those are cool. The one that my team uses is called MetroCool. MetroCool is a free feature. It allows you to run AI captions and copy so that you can automatically put your information or video in, and it will run your social media channels, right? And it'll do up to 5 channels for free. This is not going to cost you. Now, if you want to do more than 5 channels, then you have to pay for the additional, but it will do 5 channels, and you can then have your videos and caption already ready for the month, week, or year, already pre-created and already ready to send out, and it will take you less than 2 hours to do that for a month, in my opinion. So that's one thing. MetroCool, right? MetroCool is one. The other thing that I use a lot of is it's captions. It's another one that's eluding me that I use too. It starts with a it's not an O, but I'll think about it in a minute. Captions is another one. This allows you to Opus clips. That's it. I like Opus for churches, and here's why. Because Opus for churches, I'm allowed to put in my YouTube clip or link. It will automatically start cutting those clips to be able to use for the week, month, year in terms of reels. If you use Opus, that same thing can happen with captions as well. Those 3 apps is what the market is using. If you want to get more granular or you want to get into some deeper waters, then you would use something. Black Magic makes this app, the bigger app. Golly, it's on my computer. Hold on, I'll tell you.
So while you're doing that, let me jump in too. So with that, yeah, captions is great. CapCut is awesome. These are all free on there. And then to build upon Opus, Taja. So the cool thing I like about Opus, you can put the clip in. Taja gives you a chance to put the whole YouTube video in, and then it'll manage your YouTube page. So it'll actually update. Yeah, Taja is dope. So you put Taja.ai, and it'll manage your YouTube page for you. Add the tags, give you the. They just updated where they give you videos too. So find viral clips. They'll give you the top 3 viral clips in your video. So what we do is we put that clip in from our service on Sunday. It'll find my sermon, clip it out, give us the best title for it, all of that, and then it'll just automatically optimize your YouTube page. It's really cool. So Opus is great. Don't get me wrong. Opus is great. Taja is great too. And then I got to give a shout out. I mean, I ain't an affiliate, but whatchamacallit, Pulpit.ai is sick. And yeah, I love Pulpit.ai. You get your small group guides, your curriculum for your kids, discussion guides. You can get clips in there as well. Now their clips don't come out in HD. That's the only thing I don't like, but I know they're still working on it.
Yep.
But Pulpit.ai is just incredible when it comes to just church marketing management after the sermon. Now we want to get to pre-sermon stuff, and that's where my tool comes in. But yeah.
We'll get
there.
You'll get there. Let's get to sermons. Say something about sermons, DK. Yeah. And Dr. Lester, you can chime in too. Go ahead to DK.
Oh, okay. Pastors, you need to have some ethical responsibility here if you're going to use AI. I'm just going to be trill with you. We've been tracking some of y'all since y'all been using Blue Letter Bible and Sermon Central, pulling your sermons down and trying to preach them. We know that y'all are slacking, and I get it. You are tired. You are bivocational. You don't have time. This AI can potentially help you, but here's the one thing that you got to remember: AI cannot help you if you and your spirit don't show up. If you and the Holy Spirit don't show up to AI, it can't help you. You just type in words. It won't be able to help you. You gotta have spirit. You gotta know how a sermon flows in order to put it into AI.
You gotta be able to do some basic exegesis.
Basic. It's going to require that. So why you think you can be a little lazy? Because there's ways to do it. Like me and Lester then figured out if we wanted to do it, we could. And so that's when we can get into what's called custom GPTs, where we can make the GPT do that work for us if we so desire. But even if I did that,
I don't believe you can make a black sermon with a black clothes on the end unless you do the work anyway.
You got to do the front end work. It requires it.
You got to do the work anyway.
There's no doubt.
Now, you can make it repeat some things.
Sure.
After you do some initial work. Okay. Yeah. You can make it do that. But the exegesis has
It's gotta be
just
done.
been horrible. It's just been horrible. And there's no sense of what woman is preaching is.
Of course.
There's no sense of understanding things through different lenses. And it just it grates on my nerve. Dr. Lester, chime in.
So I'm gonna blow y'all's mind. I'm in full agreement with what you said. This app called Undermined. So you talk about women's feminist thought, gender, sexuality. If you guys are using Undermined, not Perplexity and not Scholar GPT, but Undermined is by far the best research tool I've seen that exists, and it searches every single one of the scholarly journals. And if you come to my webinar next Thursday, I have a webinar, jrlester.com. Click buy my webinar. I have a webinar where I'm going to go through all these apps with you a lot slower. We'll show you how to use them. But on Undermined, you're able to search scholarly journals, research through them, give summaries of them, and that's great. Now, the thing about preaching, in my opinion, to what you guys were saying, I love using it to help with, like, give me summaries of, like, either history or stories and then break it down for the kids. But in terms of writing your sermon, God called you. He didn't call AI.
Come on, brother.
Like, you know what I mean? So he called you for your context. You know the people. And so if you're using artificial intelligence to write your sermon, then we got a whole lot of other issues that you and God have to deal with. But if we're using AI to assist in marketing, so I believe in gamification. My second book was on Let's Play Church, gamifying churches. So the sermon to me is like Madden's update. You can't say no to the update. You need the update. So I don't need the update to come from anybody else but the source, you.
That's
Your
right.
church does not need Sermon Central African-American pulpit, because y'all used to copy African-American pulpit. Sermon
my
Central,
God,
they used to copy that mug big.
That was awful.
Logos and all, which Logos needs AI in it, but like
Logos. We're gonna talk about logos. We're gonna get there. We need to get there.
Nope, we need to get there. I'm not getting there because I want to build my own. I want to build my own. So
we need no. Pause right there.
We need to get there. We need to talk about logos, man.
Pause. Talk about logos, DK.
Listen.
Stop.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
All right.
Oh my God.
I know it's a lot of preachers on here, and I respect the fact that you guys have spent upwards of $1,000+ on logos and its research material. For some, and it's research material and the things of that nature. It should really gain our attention. The fact that it is taking them to get to 2024 or 23 or 22, just for them to get people that look like you into their application,
and they still don't have it.
That is problematic for me.
Any large numbers.
That is problematic for me. And again, if we have community and we have the thought leaders and we have people that's in tech, maybe we can find something to be able to support the information for that. So I know Pastor Lester got some stuff in his bag that may be something similar, but I think it's important that, because to your point, that bias question, if we are looking at the evangelical conversation, then what is our preaching going to resemble?
That's right.
Right. Exactly. It's going to resemble the evangelical research that we have done versus fitting our context, right? Exactly. Like learning the mixed methods and fitting that context, and learning about Teresa Fry Brown and fitting that context. Having that information is really needed for our people. And some of us avoid it for whatever reason. So that's what I would say to it.
But I also think there's so much we just don't know.
Sure.
We don't know who the crackers are.
Figuratively and literally.
Okay. I said it. I meant it. I'm here to represent it. We don't even know, because we don't know the scholarship.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
We don't know the scholarship. Well, see, so we don't know that we just opened a cracker on Logos. We don't know.
Yeah.
And it sounds right. It sounds good, etc. But we can't see all of the nuances within those within it. Okay. We already out of time. This has been amazing. This has been amazing. Okay. And we got to do it again. Y'all up for it?
Let's do it.
I'm down.
Always.
We got to do it again. And I've got 3 texts on my phone. Can they do X, Y, Z? And I'm gonna send them to your website so you can tell them what you are going to do. As we close, Dr. Lester, tell us about what's coming up for you.
Yeah, so I have 2 books out. If you go on Amazon, it's called What the Heck is AI? And so please go on that one, Church of AI. Please go there. Then I have a webinar coming up on next Thursday, I believe, and it's on my website.
Give me a date.
October 29th.
October 29th.
Yep. So you click on at 7 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Pacific. So no matter where you live, it'll be 7 p.m. for you. And so if you go to jrlester.com on my website, first thing you'll see is join my webinar. Click there, come into my webinar, and we spend an hour and a half just going through artificial intelligence and how it relates to you in the church. And then also I'm traveling a bunch. So if you're in Nashville, I'm at Garner Neighbor Lecture Series on Thursday. And then if you're at AAR, I'll be at AAR as well at the end of the month in November. And then I have a masterclass. You go to jrlester.com. It's a free it's a paid masterclass, but I give you 1 free session with me where I'll take a look at your church systems, take a look at what you got, and we'll give you 45 minutes to really just dive into what apps work for you. And so
now y'all can't beat that. He's gonna give you 45 minutes free.
Yeah.
And then take it after that. And I know, we love just having free stuff. Stop being so cheap.
Talk about it, please.
Investment.
So you got
instead of some more gators and another shiny suit.
Come on, we don't need that. You can't AI no suits.
Investment.
That's it.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. If you're going to pastor, be an executive pastor, do Christian education, nonprofit management, you've got to understand AI. You won't understand it all at once.
No.
That's not required. No. But you do need the basics for what you want to do. For what you want to do. You need the basics for what you want to do. DK, what you got coming up, or what do you want to tell us?
Yeah, I'll be at Tidely Conference. So if you guys are in Dallas this weekend, I'll be there. You can always pull me to the side. We can have a conversation, but not too deep, because a consult fee is always in need and necessary. God bless you. You can go to dkconsults.org. You can pick up 7 Ways to Digital Discipleship. That's there for $7. I try to make my stuff as affordable as possible for our people. You can learn about podcasting and social audio. That's there for $1.99. There is one a conference that I did, and the actual document is there. Digital Common Ground, Transforming Lives Through Faith and Tech. I might let that go for free later on tonight if y'all check back with the website and a website checklist. Also, you can go to my website if you want to do a consult. Connect with me via that way to do a consult. What I want to do is what I feel led to do is, if it's enough people that's going to hit my inbox, I want to create a Kajabi community page sometime in the next week or two, and we can really get this together and really be able to resource and really be able to have community. It's the only way we get ahead together. And you may have to pay something, but you won't have to pay a consult fee on down the road. So you have to choose which way you want to do. You can pay the consult fee, or you can do this. So those are the things that I have, and I appreciate you guys for just working with me as I tinker and tour with tech.
Yeah, well, I just appreciate both of you for coming on just to help the people.
Yeah,
just to help the people. That's what these brothers are about. I can tell you, I know some of the money folk out there.
That's right.
I really do. And I didn't invite them.
Amen.
I did not. And I know who they are. And so for those of you who will send me text and come in my inbox and say, why wasn't it so-and-so? Because they the money people. Okay. And I'm more interested in helping the church and helping people do ministry. I believe in people getting paid. There's no doubt about it. As an independent scholar, I appreciate those of you who hit my Cash App. I appreciate it. I really do. But there's got to be a point at which we are concerned about the people.
That's right.
the
Absolutely.
people and doing ministry and uplifting our communities. That's it. I'm out of time. Remember, next Monday, I'm going to talk about how can I do that, and a whole lot of things we're going to cover under that umbrella. Last but not least, as I always say, share the video. It won't cost you anything. We all know goo gobs of people who need what happened today. This was big. This was big, and I
This was
can't.
major. I ain't gonna lie to
Yeah,
you. This was major.
yeah.
This is major.
You know, I can't thank you two for enough for coming on just because I called an ass. I can't thank you all enough for that. So I hope everyone has a great week. If you're doing early voting, go do it.
Please.
Go do
Please.
Go do it. It's critical. God bless everybody. You all have a great